Join Hanson Scotty Friday, noon to 3. Tim Daly Mazda and Sandy, 107-85 South Auto Mall Drive. 107-85 South Auto Mall Drive. Hans' last show as a full-time co-host with Scotty. You got to believe he'll be back on at some point. He's still going to be calling games, so I'm on for a segment here or there.
He indicated he's going to be contributing during football season, so I think we're going to take advantage of that.
You put a question up on Facebook. David Locke joining us today. What Jazz NBA questions do you have for him? And I have to say, our people came through with some classics, some stuff that really cuts right to the point and stuff that has to have been discussed at length in Jazz offices.
Oh, cool. Now you got me intrigued.
My two favorite ones, Bruce, big picture. How long will it be before the Jazz can be a playoff team? And that goes to the old Dennis Lindsay. Hey, we're going to develop these young guys, and then at some point we're going to decide to push our chips in the middle of the table, bring the veterans in, and try to make a move. Are they going to see enough development this year and have the opportunity to do it this offseason and try to be a playoff team next year? Or is it play the young guys, play everybody together, stand pat, maybe the opportunities aren't as good this summer as they would prefer, add a rookie hopefully, and then it's another year before or the trade deadline before they add veterans? I can't imagine they'd throw the number out 2029, 3 years away. That, I think you can say 2027 or 2028, but that whole, in 2029 we'll work on trying to be a playoff team.
Well, wait. Don't just give me 1 year because they overlap the calendar years.
So the playoffs, we're talking about the playoffs. Don't worry about when the season starts, right? We're in 26 now, the 26 playoffs.
Okay.
I think the answer is they try to be in the 27 playoffs or the 28 playoffs. I can't believe they're sitting around thinking 29. Next year is 27. Yes.
All right. I'm fine with that.
But I can see where they would say 28.
That's
I can't
right
see
around the corner now.
where they say 29. Can you?
As far as their first entry?
Right. How long will it be before the Jazz can be a playoff team?
Well, there's no guarantees.
Absolutely
so
not.
They can't give you any guarantees. You can have 5 injuries that particular year, you said.
And that's why I say it's the Dennis Lindsay.
But I want to know when you're going for it.
It's got to be 27 or 28.
Okay.
I can see we're in 27.
So 26, 27 season.
Right.
So in October, they're going for it. Now, that would be in the summer. They would make moves leading up to that. All right.
The Mammoth had the year last year where they were going for it and they made some moves, but there's also this recognition we might come up short, but we want to be in the mix in the last month. And the Jazz, that might be how they pitch next season.
That's what they can't guarantee we're going to be in the 27 playoffs.
But you can make moves that say we're all in trying to get there, and then those guys could come in and get hurt. I get there's zero guarantees.
Injuries. That's what I just said.
But there's still the decisions they make.
Right.
We're slow playing it, or we're going for it.
And they don't have to just make moves. They can literally say it. And if you go for it and don't get it, I mean, BYU is set up to go for the Final Four this year. All right, well, they may not get it. Okay, you didn't get it. Things happen. But you pushed all your chips in and you went. That's good enough for me. And then we'll worry about it.
Yeah.
In the spring of 27.
This is how, we've been doing the show a long time, but this is how I felt about the Padres for 15 years. I didn't feel like they went for it for a decade. Now, they haven't gotten it in the last 5 years, but
it's tough to get.
It's tough to get.
Although they got to the playoffs in one playoff series.
They've got to the playoffs, and not only did they beat the Dodgers in the playoffs one year, which in San Diego is the most important thing you can do. So, that was great, and the town went nuts for it, and then they got beat later, but whatever. But at least they went for it, and it was entertaining while they went for it.
Because packed.
Even though
every night it was packed, 40,000 every night.
Even though you didn't know if they would get it or not.
Well, that's part of the fun.
Exactly.
If you knew,
right? Could they stand relatively pat and be a playoff team in 27?
Oh man, relatively. That is such a broad word that I suppose
you get the internal growth. You add a rookie.
Yeah, and other teams have injuries, and things don't go their way.
I think they're so far away defensively that if they're going to be a playoff team in 27 next season, they're going to have to bring in some better defenders and some veterans who, just have experience of being in relatively big moments.
For sure. Yeah.
So, excellent question from Bruce. It is the question.
But I don't see why not next year. I'm having a hard time seeing why not.
Why not bring the veterans in, push the chips
Why
into the
not
table?
be in the mix?
Yeah.
All things considered. Now, you've got guys, you're going to have guys going in their fourth year.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have guys going into their third year.
Right. But are they going to set up the roster so there's big minutes for guys who are still developing Williams and Hendricks?
No. Make the roster as competitive as you can be.
And then those guys have to earn it if they
are
can.
decided by themselves through Will Hardy. And Majerus taught me a lot of things about hoop. And one of the things he'd say is, you decide minutes.
That was a great line.
And if you're around the team every day like I was, it becomes obvious.
Yeah. He wasn't kidding.
Yeah. Who deserves the minutes?
Guys,
Everybody knows.
Guys played their way in and guys played their way out.
Yeah. Then it becomes, if you're following it every day, like a beat writer would,
it becomes pretty obvious.
They know.
Yeah.
And the kids know.
Well, and not only did it become obvious to you who was going to play, it became obvious to you when guys were going to get subbed in and subbed out.
Yeah.
You could see mistakes.
Oh, I knew who was going to be cut.
Yeah. You could see mistakes on the floor and think, next dead ball, that guy's out.
Yeah.
Yes.
There was a play, the Maui Invitational.
Mm-hmm.
They're playing Maryland. Maryland had Joe Smith that year. It was
Yeah.
the number one pick, I think, of Minnesota, if I remember.
Yeah, you're right.
And there was a player who came down. So they're down by 5, and it's the last possession of the first half. And he comes down and he jacks up a shot that was not a good shot, and it allowed for a long rebound and the Terrapins to have enough time to get down. So they're down by 5, right? They got a chance to cut it to 3 or 2. And so he takes a shot, ill-advised shot, long rebound.
Maryland goes the other way and scores.
And gets fouled.
Makes a free throw for 8.
Yes. And I said to the person next to me, I said, that guy's done.
Yeah.
He barely played the rest of the year. He literally was buried on the Majerus had enough.
Do you recognize a good shot versus a bad shot?
Right.
The answer was no.
And time and
Do you
score?
recognize time and score?
Yeah.
And the answer is no.
The worst you're doing is going into half down by 5.
Right. And are you thinking about yourself or are you thinking about the team?
Right.
And all the guys who flourished under Majerus were team guys. Why did he love Alex Jensen? Because Alex was the ultimate team guy.
Yeah, and so you'll know. So bring the roster in, make it as competitive as you can get, and roll the balls out, and away you go. That's what I want to see next year. This year, I want to see a loss tonight. I want to see as many losses as possible. Now, I want to see competitive losses. I was dismayed by the lack of
competition in the Warrior game. Everybody was on cruise control.
Intensity.
Yeah, there was none.
Yeah, it was
they were going somewhere
all-star
between
game-ish.
half and 2/3 speed.
And it was,
and the Warriors knew they could go 3/4 speed and win by double digits
and just get open threes. It was like a shoot around for them.
Yep.
There was no resistance. That was not good enough. I did not like it. I was bored by it. Sure, it was fun to see all the threes go in and everything, but
it really wasn't.
If you put NBA shooters and
if they get open shots, if they get a lot of open
contesting,
shots, they're all going to start making them.
Yeah.
You can give them one open shot. If you're contesting everything, and that one open may not go in.
Right.
But you give them 4 open shots in a row, somebody's going to get hot.
Right.
Whoever that is, whoever's getting those shots.
Yeah, yeah, and it just was not. There wasn't enough level of intensity in that building, and that really bothered me. That was something that it's like, get this game over with so I can go to bed. And so from that perspective, I want to see them ball. I want to see guys try, for lack of a better word, try harder. And it's hard to, in the NBA, to give your maximum ability every night. Some nights, that's 100%. But because of the travel and the slew of games, some nights, 85% actually might be your 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We understand that. I'm okay with that. That's not their fault. That's the way of the world with the travel. That's why the NBA is cursed in the regular season but yet the playoffs can be awesome because everybody's on the same schedule. Everything matters 1,000 times more. There's no load management.
Get rid of the back-to-backs.
And they're as intense as can be. And I don't know that there's anything to change. We try to change the lottery, and I insist, I'll go to my grave, just open it up. That's the only way you could truly get rid of it. And sure, you risk some team going, but then have some other rule too. If you get a top pick, then you're ineligible for the top pick for 5 years or something. I don't know. I think you can solve that. But I don't think you can solve unless they reduce the schedule to, what do you say, 66, I think is your number?
66 with a 30-team league. You could play everybody
But they're not going to do
twice.
that.
They are not going to do that.
So it's pointless.
Not giving up 16 games.
To talk about that because it's not going to happen. So with that in mind, they're always going to have guys ducking out during the regular season. I don't think you can lower or put a maximum. You got to play minimum of 65 games for awards. And you're just ham and egging it. You can try this in-season tournament. You're ham and egging it. It doesn't have any power. It doesn't have the power
to move the needle.
Yeah, I don't blame them for trying.
But ultimately,
there's nothing there. There's not enough there. Put it that way. The winning team can celebrate, but the rest of us shrug. Because that's the way it's going to be. It's their curse. They're going to have to deal with it. The blessing is the playoffs, I think, are really good. And they're fun to watch. And any playoff game, anytime, I don't care if it's Eastern team or whomever, I know those guys are going to ball. And that's all I want. That's why I always loved covering conference tournaments when I was a college beat writer for all those years. Yeah.
There's a movie line about that. Fear. The air is ripe with it. And I wouldn't say fear so much a conference tournament, but I would say desperation. You can walk into a conference tournament and you can feel the desperation.
Yeah.
I love playing basketball, and we have to win to extend our season. We have to win to play one more day. I mean, early on, they're not even worried about the NCAA tournament berth. It's like, we're going to play one more day.
Yeah, you don't want to quit.
I know.
Those
great.
are your guys.
It's great.
And in those days, the WAC Mountain West, it would be the women earlier. Mm-hmm. And it's the same thing.
It was.
The semifinal
day, you'd go over there for 4 games.
Yeah. And the women would be balling out, diving, doing everything they possibly could. And then when they lost, they would cry. It hurt that bad. Yes, I can remember Dave Rose's daughter basically collapsing into Dave Rose's arms up the tunnel at the Thomas and Mack because it was over. And it hurt like crap. Yes.
Hate it when it's over.
Sure. Yeah, especially when it's over. And you're done.
I can remember walking off the floor, horribly disappointed.
Yeah.
I played poorly. We'd lost. And Monte Vista High School, last high school game, and it was over. And I mean, walk in the locker room. I can remember like 2 walks to the locker room after games in all the 4 years of high school basketball, and that was one of them.
Yeah.
It's just like, I don't remember walking in the locker room after a game. After all these decades, I remember that one.
I was a junior, and we're in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And we lose, and we're maybe it's a neutral field, I don't remember, but it was not at home. And we got to get on the bus, and we had only like 2 or 3 seniors on the team. And I can remember one of the seniors saying, "This is the last time I'll wear this uniform. Mm-hmm. When we get back, I have to take this uniform off." And I was a junior. I go, "Oh my gosh, that's going to be me. That sucks. That's going to be me. It's going to be over." I played 1 year after high school, and I can remember that game, the playoff game. We needed a couple of runs, and I'm one of the older guys, finally.
Yeah, right. Because you're playing Legion ball in the summer after your senior year.
Because I was so young, I could come back and play, and I played. And I was telling these guys, stand up, man. We got to get these guys going. We got to score 2 runs and all. And it was over. It was a crushing blow. So I get that it's hard to do that every night in the NBA. But in the playoffs, yes, they bring it. So it's going to be the curse. So I want the Jazz to string up a bunch of competitive losses. That's my dream scenario between now and April 15th, whenever this last game is. And I want them to, and they'll sprinkle in a few wins. I get it. But be competitive and lose, and then that's it. And then Austin can say, well, now we're not going to tank. And he's brand new. He's got to say that. Once he said that, I thought, I'm not going to hold him to that because it's not real. He had to say it.
The other answer gets him fined every time.
Right. So I'm fine with what he said because he had to say it. Well, now in the postseason roundup that they have in April, and then the times he'll speak over the course of the summer when they make moves, now it's on. And you got Lacombe saying they're going to win 45. And I don't think he says that lightly. So that's not even knowing what moves they're going to make. So with that in mind, yes, I expect the sun to shine far more often in 26-27 than it does in 25-26.
Tim has said 45 several times. And the first time we had the discussion, I said 40, not knowing what moves they would make. So I don't see them being a playoff team next season unless they make the moves that dictate it, which will be totally obvious. You'll know them when they make them before we get on the air the next morning.
Well, they'll have two moves for sure. One is Kessler back. One is a
rookie. Right.
Well thought of, regarded rookie. Mm-hmm. A rookie, so I'm not going crazy.
Right. But a possibly well thought of. Let's see where they end up in the draft order.
Less than 24 hours ago, I got one rookie going nuts and another rookie going berserk.
Cooper Flagg, Conca-Nipple.
Yes.
But you've got to get into the top 4 to get those guys. They went 1-4, and we'll see if the Jazz get into the top 4.
They will.
All right, there it is. About time, the math, law of numbers, Matt Harpring. Matt Harpring's theories are pushing the Jazz into the top 4 this year.
The NBA is based out of New York, right? A lot of their offices in Chicago.
Yes.
I've been talking to some of my cousins.
Oh, stop.
No, I'm not stopping.
Here's another good question. We won't debate now. We'll give it to David Locke in the next segment. Will there be a point this year that the Jazz make Ace Bailey the focal point of the offense, or are they just better off letting him blend in for now? That comes from Michael Morrill. Good question, Michael, and we'll give it to David Locke next, right here on The Zone.
Just a shout away, DJ.
DJ PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. We are joined by the radio voice of the Utah Jazz, David Locke. David, good morning.
The world is back in order. The two of you are together. My Friday mornings are perfect. An inspiration for all the blue sky is out. The greatness of DJ and PK in the morning. What else could you ask for? A gift that keeps on giving for 20-plus years in Utah, every single morning, there for you, like the comfort of a great pillow, like, I don't know. I don't know what else. I'm done. I ran out.
It happens.
We did something today that...
Once I had the vision of being in bed and you involved, it was over.
Mercifully.
That fear went right through my body, top to bottom. What a day in sports already. Tragedy, exaltation, unbelievable performances. Maybe one of the saddest, worst scenarios, if it comes out to be true, possible. What a morning already, and it's 8:30 in the morning.
Oh, man.
Djokovic upsetting Skinner?
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yep. And now he's playing for his 25th Grand Slam title.
25.
Lindsey Vonn crashing in a pre-Olympic run.
Out on a race that they canceled after 5 races because it was unsafe, and this could ruin one of the greatest comebacks in the history of sport.
And she was airlifted from the course for medical checks.
And they canceled the race after 3 of the first 5 racers ended up in the P netting, and it was unsafe. Man, would I be bitter if I was her.
Yeah, right. Could have stopped that 3 to 5 skiers earlier. That would have been good.
Right. Oh, my gosh. So,
Alcaraz
huge
survived.
morning already.
Yes. David, we did something that you would have gotten mad at us when you were a program director, but now that you're doing podcasts, you do it every week. We solicited questions from the audience.
Yeah, I wouldn't have gotten mad at you if you'd done that, as long as you took the good questions and actually had good topics.
I think there's multiple good questions in here. I think the fans really brought it. So here's one for you.
Here's what I would have gotten mad at. And let's tell the truth, because this is what I would have done. People will think this is a good story. show host and I was a program director, used to go on the air, Barry Hancock, can't remember anybody else who would ever have done anything like this, and say, quote, all right, phone lines are open next. You choose the topics. I would walk in during commercial breaks and say, if they're choosing the beeping topics, I can hire them to do the beeping show.
Nice.
Is this true?
Yes, that is true. That would be your attitude.
Okay. Anyway, that's what I didn't like. So just to be fair.
Michael says, will there be a point this year the Jazz make Ace Bailey the focal point of the offense, or are they better off just letting him blend in for now?
So we talked about this on Postcast with Ron Boone after the game. Ron looked at me like I was crazy. I think there will be 20 games this year in which Ace Bailey is the focal point of the offense. I think it'll be the final 10 of the season and 10 of the 20 prior to that.
How will they pick the 10? I get why the last 10, they're sitting a bunch of people. I think we all get that. These 10 prior, how will they pick that?
No idea.
Okay.
I just think it'll happen. Organically, shall we say.
Okay.
How will it look then? What would it look like?
I mean, I think there'll be nights where he goes 4 of 19, and I think there'll be nights where he kind of puts it together a little bit. I think he'll force up a bunch of bad, ugly shots. Hopefully there'll be a few nights where he takes 6 free throws because he's currently allergic to the free throw line. So I think it'll have all sorts of – I mean, I really thought, to his credit, he's so dramatically different than what we thought he was going to be from watching his Rutgers film. But then, I kept saying it during that time period, like he was playing with Jerry from Staten Island. So, maybe there was a reason he shot every single time. And now that he's playing with really good players, he's assimilated in beautifully. I think that's maybe the most impressive thing he's done this year. And his instinctual passing and plays are really, really wildly impressive. So I think in that sense, I think he'll have to revert back a little bit on the nights where Keontae and Lowry aren't on the floor and take 22 shots. And a lot of them are going to be he gets the ball on the right side and his handle and his strength is not enough yet that he can bully someone to the rim. So he ends up kind of pivoting, fading back, and he's got this incredible length. So he can get any shot up anytime he wants, but some are going to be really bad, ugly shots. So there's going to be nights where he goes 4 of 19, and there's probably going to be some nights where he gets on a heater.
It certainly looks like he's more comfortable firing it up now. Would you agree with that? No, it doesn't seem a level of tentativeness.
I thought Will Hardy just said it well. He's learning the different ways to get his shots. Like he's really figured out the mid-range, right? He's got that almost Jeff Malone-esque leap and leaner, and he really looks. He's very comfortable in that. That you can tell when he shoots that, he thinks it's going in, and that's his comfort zone. What I like is he's taking that, but at the same time, he's still taking 7 or 8 threes a game. Like, you can't just become a mid-range maven. And so, but the best players have to have some mid-range because they have to be able to score at 3 levels. And he's, other than on back cuts and fast breaks, he's not scoring at the rim out of the half court off his own creation. So he's got to have the 2 other levels. But what I do think is he's finding where the shots come from in the NBA. And so he's just getting a lot more off, which is terrific. And it's really good that he's getting 7 or 8 or 9 threes off a game. That's really hard to do, and that's a big talent. And there aren't that many guys in the league that can get that many off a night. And if you can start shooting 38, 40% from 3 and get 7, 8, or 9 off, you're on your way to NBA scoring titles. You're on I'm bullish. I keep talking about Tracy McGrady. Tracy McGrady won NBA scoring titles. I think that's who he reminds me of. I think he's great.
Bruce wants to know how long it will be before the Jazz can be a playoff team.
Honestly, I think this dictates a little bit on what happens with the Warriors and Clippers. The Warriors and Clippers are both in pretty desperate situations here pretty quickly, and the Warriors pull out the Giannis trade the next week, then they're not nearly desperate, and then they're one of the 6 playoff teams, and the Clippers in 2 years have nobody on their books, and if they're able to sign a free agent like Giannis or whoever the next Anthony Edwards or whoever the next one is that becomes available, and they jet up there, then they're one of the 6, and you already know that Oklahoma City's in that 6, and you already know that San Antonio's in that 6 with Victor and Shea. And Denver's going to be there for a while with Jokic, and then if the Clippers are there, and you know the Lakers are probably going to be there with Doncic, then it's going to be really hard. Minnesota's got a little bit of time left with Anthony Edwards if he stays, but Gobert's 33 and Randall's 31. And so they're going to fade off. And Houston's got – I don't love the Amon Thompson, Alfred Şengün model as my future stars on that team. So I think that one's going to be in flux for a little while, but that they have a lot of pieces figured out. So, in a sense, I think we'll be like a play-in team next year, but I also think it's going to be a really, really hard, rocky road. And to some extent, it determines what happens to the major market teams of whether the Warriors and Clippers have to go through a rebuild or whether the Warriors and Clippers are able to reload immediately. They reload immediately. What the West is, it's going to be really hard to even make the playoffs.
Can they swing a deal in the manner of what Phoenix did? Because Phoenix last year was all sorts of negative. Everything coming out of there didn't seem possible that they would be able to be a playoff contending team. And they make a trade with Durant and get Brooks and all that stuff. And away they go. And now I think they're like 8, 9, 10 games over 500. They're one of the success stories of the season. And basically it was about getting rid of some dead weight in terms of Bradley Beal and making the trade with Houston for Durant and bringing over Brooks, and look at them go. It's amazing to me how they've been doing as well as they can. And it seems to me that the Jazz, from where Phoenix was last year before they made the moves, the Jazz are in a better spot to be better than Phoenix. And so with a move or two, that they can really make a difference. Do you see that scenario? Is that legitimate?
I guess so. When Walker comes back, he actually becomes decent defensively. They're using Mark Williams and others.
Right. I mean, he will come back.
Grayson Allen's just a better player than anyone ever realized. But they're doing a good job. I mean, they culturally had a problem there last year, obviously, with Durant, Budenholzer, and a lot of things going on there that was just kind of a disaster. Sure, I think we could make them run into a play-in team like Phoenix is pretty quickly. You have to get better defensively, but that should happen. And then I don't know where Phoenix goes from here, to be honest. But
But who cares, really? I mean, it's about the Jazz.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's part of the. Yeah, I think. Yes, I do think the Jazz could make that kind of run. Phoenix is really surprising. There's no. And Devin Booker. Yeah, they made this trade where they got Dylan Brooks and Jalen Green and somebody else who I can't think of right now. Jalen Green's barely played.
Yeah,
so really they just got Dylan. It's not like my first instinct was to look at Phoenix and say, what we're really learning here is another one of these trades where it used to be whoever traded the best player got the best player won. Now in this NBA, it's looking like whoever gets the most minutes wins. But that's not the case on this trade because Jalen Green just hasn't played a lot.
Right.
So, I mean, honestly, this trade's a huge indictment of Kevin Durant. And I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
As much as we all get tired of quotes using the word culture over and over because it's way easier to say than do, it does go to the point that you'd better do the culture right. And the teams that win, largely, there are exceptions, but largely get the culture right. And teams that lose, you hear, cancer in the locker room, nobody likes each other. To update the old quote, 15 guys, 15 Ubers. I mean, you bust, so it doesn't really fit, but we all know that from an old baseball quote. And it tells you what the locker room is like. And basketball is like, if you're not together, then the ball doesn't move, right? If the team isn't really together. And once you start playing one-on-one, you're way easier to defend, and it usually shows up on the scoreboard pretty quickly. And
right. It can be. It also can be like 15 guys, one cap. But they're back, but it's bad. Right?
Plausible.
Yeah, I think that actually might have been where Phoenix was last year. It might have been unifiedly bad, like culturally. We got rid of Bradley Beal and got rid of Kevin Durant. Frank Vogel turned the team over to Devin Booker and Kevin Durant hated it. Then Mike Budenholzer came in, turned the team over to Kevin Durant. Devin Booker hated it. Bradley Beal, I don't know, obviously whatever impact that is. So I mean that just was a really a mess, and then I think there was a lot of ownership involvement, to the level of like telling coaches who should play and who shouldn't. They just, Matt Ishbia may have learned from his mistakes too. I don't know all the facts. I don't know all the things going on to make it right. I do know a lot of them happen to make it wrong.
Yeah, gotcha. You look at this draft and the impact, I'm speaking of the most recent draft, that it's had. I mean, you just look at the game between the Mavericks and the Hornets, right? And Flagg goes for 49, and Con Knipple, who was a little bit of a surprise at the fourth pick. He's just had a fabulous rookie season, and combined with the other picks that they've had, it seems like all of a sudden Charlotte's outlook looks a lot better. Edgecombe goes to Philly. Now he has the opportunity to play a lot, because, or at least be an option, not just play, but literally be an option, because Embiid and George are not Iron Men, and it seems like when they don't play, that's the norm, and when they do play, it's a surprise. So you got to have the opportunity. And where I'm going with this is, if the Jazz can get a top 3 to 4 pick this year, do you think that kid could have the type of impact that we're seeing? Now, maybe he doesn't have the opportunity that these other guys have, but I'm talking about impact in a manner to help the team get to, Lacombe has talked about winning 45 games. It seems that these kids coming in at the top are more ready to play a little earlier. And so with that in mind, if it happens, which I think it's a must, if it does happen, it's great news for the team that can really help the team in terms of making that addition that we're looking for, that you don't have to go out and acquire somebody. You can use that rookie, plug him in to get a higher level of production than maybe some of the other rookies, and that helps the team be more competitive next season.
Yes. So this draft class, it's trending toward being the best draft class since '86, which is the greatest draft class of all time. I think I have my year right. I think that draft class had like 9 all-star, all-NBA players in that draft, and I think we're going to end up with 6 or 7 out of this draft. And then everyone thinks this next draft is better. So, yes, if you have a top 4 pick in this draft, which is the big 3, then probably the kid at North Carolina, Caleb Wilson, is the 4th.
Yeah.
I think they step right in and play and contribute. And, what's interesting is that rookies usually don't help winning at all. These kids seem to be doing a better job of helping winning than we've seen in years past. No, this draft class is incredible. Con Knipple is just an amazingly good basketball player. I fully missed on my analysis of him. I watched the games where he played without Cooper Flagg, and he was turnover prone, and he had a hard time with his handle, and I just thought he was playing with so many NBA players on a collegiate level, and I missed it. I did not see this level of play, and then even a little bit of self-creation now, and then even if you go back to when the Jazz played him early in the year, the 2 previous games were against, I think, Orlando and some other good defensive team. He was awful in those 2 games, and I thought he was really in trouble. And then Lee came in, and he was amazing, and then he's been amazing ever since. So he's a great story. He's probably, until kind of recently, I actually think he was Rookie of the Year. I think Cooper's probably going to earn that above him. But those 2 really quite something. And Duke obviously had a heck of a team last year.
David Locke, radio voice of the Utah Jazz, on the air tonight as the Jazz face the Brooklyn Nets. The 12-win Nets tip off at 7:30, pregame at 6:30. David, we will hear you then. Thanks for joining us.
Let me ask you one question.
Okay.
4 first-round draft picks, maybe 1 or 2 players, young players, but not players trending in the most amazing. So not Keontae.
Hendricks and Williams.
For Giannis, for 1 year to prove to him that he wants to be in Salt Lake City, and you'd have his bird rights.
Number 1, I don't think he's coming. So I think this is all an exercise for radio.
You're trading for him. I mean, to some extent, he kind of has to come, right?
It's like I
Got a
said.
year left on his deal.
He would come for half a season, then he'd be gone.
You don't know that.
I don't know that. He asked me what I thought, so I'm telling you what I think.
Yeah, but you make it sound like you say I would think he'd be gone, not he'll be gone.
I mean,
You say
PK's always
things
been-
definitively on the air. Have an opinion. I have an opinion now. You criticize me. I constantly attack.
you're
Locke.
always-
It's the personal attacks that make him obnoxious.
PK, you're always preaching that we're not this, that we need to get out of our. I've heard you, PK, about Utah, and we're not this, and we're not.
I'm
Should we
with
do
you.
it? Should we go get Giannis for a year, show it to him, and see if he'll stay?
I think it should be seriously considered. Yes.
31-year-old with a calf strain, working on an Achilles, 1-9 in his last 10 playoff games. No.
Does he make the team better?
Oh, yes.
Well, then why not?
Because they're talking about opening a championship window.
He'll help you get there.
I think you're going to drive into the cul-de-sac and have to back out. Like
Well, at
they
least
did
you got
last
in.
time. Like they did last time. What about you, David?
I would consider it.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
I would probably rather give up some picks to facilitate the deal if I could get someone from New York for picks that allows New York to have enough picks to get Giannis.
Got your eye on any player in particular?
OG Anunoby.
Okay. All right, David, we are late to break. We got guests coming up. We got to go. Thank you. Good to talk to you.
That I would have gotten mad at you for.
Okay. Thanks, David. DJ PK at 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jared Calhoun, Utah State men's basketball coach, joins us at 9 o'clock. Pablo Mastroeni, RSL head coach at 9:30 from Portugal. They're adding players. The Aggies are getting ready to host the Aztecs, the first-place team and the second-place team, getting together tomorrow, 11 a.m. on CBS. That's next. Stay with us.
Whirls around and down.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone is your exclusive home of the Utah Jazz. And we want to send you to the Delta Center to see the Jazz in action. Listen every Tuesday for the Jazz Ticket Tuesday Sounder at 30 past the hour, every hour, all day long. And if you're caller number 12, you'll be on your way to an upcoming game.
Buy one, you'll get one free.
It's Jazz Ticket Tuesday, every Tuesday throughout the NBA season on your radio home for the Utah Jazz. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
The Hercules First Federal Credit Union Salt Lake County High School Players of the Week are Manimanya Akwar from APA West Valley and Carlo Mulford from Harriman High. Akwar scored 15 points in a rout of Real Salt Lake Academy and 37 points, a win over Utah Military Academy Camp Williams. Mulford had 28 points to lead Harriman as they upset previously undefeated Westlake and then added 18 more in a win over Cedar Valley. Salt Lake County Players of the Week Award proudly presented by Hercules First Federal Credit Union. At Hercules, they're celebrating the everyday victories. Hercules First Federal Credit Union, growing stronger together.
You know, it cost me a little cash, but in the end, I'm glad you quit.
It cost you a little cash.
It did.
It did.
But that name, man, you handled it.
Manimanya.
That was
I
impressive.
got a tutorial in the break. I didn't just come
You
up with
still
that.
handled it
Thank you.
impressively. Obviously, I know you would have been coached on it, but you still handled it. I would have stumbled. So there's a plus and minus.
When we come back, Utah State basketball coach Jared Calhoun, second place in the Mountain West, hosting first place San Diego State. Tomorrow, 11 a.m., national TV, over the air, CBS, old school. We'll talk with Jared Calhoun. And then also Pablo Mastroeni, RSL head coach at 9:30 with about 5 new guys apparently headed in. He'll join us from Portugal. Stay with us.